Yo, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy Shaq85 here, bringing you my draft analysis for Season 3 of PWBC, the Pokemon Wi-Fi Battle Club. Last season, unfortunately, we lost to Wurmple in the second 2 videos ago. Um, Ended up Wurmple going on to the championship, winning his second in a row. So congrats to him, not congrats to me, because I lost again to him. Um, this season I was pretty excited about the team I'm drafting, and I am very excited about the team I'm drafting. I've gotten really good about like caring for the mons that I do care about and like getting the team I actually enjoy using. So like I don't really have a problem with like that sort of scenario. Going into this season, there obviously this is for DLC too. Um, so there's a couple new mons, like Petulant, Gouging Fire, Raging Bull, Iron Crown, stuff like that. Going into this season, I had a pretty solid idea of what I was gonna pick. As you see, we'll get into it a little bit. As you can see on the front title screen of this video, there's a certain mod I picked. This is my number one pick. We'll get to that in a second. But other mods I wanted to pair with it with bundle was like Gouging Fire, Golden Go, Blood Moon. There's so many like options. Um, with the what I wanted to pair with my certain first overall pick. It was just kind of all what fell to me. Luckily for me, I was able to get a draft slot I liked. I was 11th out of 14th, which I prefer to be in that like not true back. I don't like a true wheel, but I like a close wheel. So like 4 and up or like 11 and down realistically, or 10 and down realistically. Um, so overall, I was pretty happy with it. A lot of things in this draft were really interesting that they fell. Some of the things that fell um, was like Dragapult fell to round to a mid two, which is insane. Some things got taken a little earlier than I expected to, but that's beside the point. And I did get a steal in my opinion, and we'll get to that when we get to that part of the video. With that being said, let's get into the team breakdown. So obviously, as the title card alludes to it, I drafted Iron Bundle round one. This is the mon I've been thinking about drafting since probably 6 months now. Um, there's a little lore story behind this, and we'll get to that in this pick and the next pick. First season, my team lost to Wurmple, but it specifically lost to Bundle. I had absolutely zero counters to Bundle, and I just straight up lost to it. Luckily, in the championship, I was able to make a hard call, and he missed the Hydro Pump, and I was able to kill the Bundle. But my team just auto lost the Bundle. And then in season two, last season, the videos that you guys saw, um, I basically built my entire team to counter bundle. I wanted everything possible that I could to do to counter bundle. Um, and lo and behold, I never even faced the bundle in the first place. So then, as soon as I realized that, I realized there was a storyline. I auto loses the bundle in season one. I fully defend bundle against bundle in season two, and then lo and behold, season three, I'm gonna draft bundle. So that's why I really wanted it first round. I think I got a good value on it. I think it's a late one, early two pick. So it's like right where I was drafting. A lot of things I wanted to pair with it. Um, the unfortunate side of the bundle is it's an ice type with Hydro Pump. That's in essence it. You can run the flip turn, I guess, as a water stab, but as you see on the stats breakdown screen, bundles is 56 HP, 80 attack, 114 defense, which is it's so weird. It's surprisingly bulky. 140, 114 special attack, 60 speed, and 136 speed. This is gonna be my fastest on the team. It can run specs, it can run boots, it can run choice scarf. I can run like electric terrain and run with the specs with that and get the booster speed. There's a lot of cool things I can run with this. The unfortunate part about bundle is Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump is 120 base power, 80% accuracy. Unfortunately, the 80% accuracy comes into play with me. I have Shack luck. I have the absolute worst luck in the game. And I knew that going into bundle was probably a bad scenario because I was gonna miss all those Hydro Pumps. But I didn't care. I wanted to draft it. I thought the storyline made sense. I'm really excited about drafting this. This is my favorite art piece of the video. I really love this. All of the artists for all of these pictures will be down below in the description. Just go show some support to them. Overall, I'm happy with bundle. Unfortunately, my favorite pair to pair with bundle got taken. I wanted to pair gouging fire in bundle. I know that's incredibly hazard weak. Fortunately, Nega got taken it. So okay, I'll go pair iron bundle with Golden Go, which is my main pairing, the pairing I've liked for 6-7 months now, prior to Gouging Fire even existing. We didn't know about it. Um, and when I got to me around 2, I was like, okay, Golden Go's there. I'm gonna take Golden Go. And then I thought, and then I sat with it, and I'm like, do I want Golden Go? Yes, I do. Is Golden Go worth a high 2? And to my opinion, it wasn't. I think it's worth a mid to late 2. We're talking like picks 7, 8 of round 2. Maybe even going to the picks 10 of round 2. And obviously I was like pick 4 of round 2. So it wasn't really that high value. And then I started looking at the mons left. I didn't want that Pokemon. I didn't want that Pokemon. I didn't want. Polt was there. I could have had bundle Polt, and I could have been fine. But I just didn't want to draft Dragapult. I had no interest in driving Dragapult. So I just started let Mons sit there and like figure out what I wanted, and I started creating a list. Okay, I'm like, there's Golden Go, there's Annihilate was sitting there, but I told myself I wasn't gonna not draft Annihilate unless it made it to me in round 3. Um, Blood Moon was there. All these Pokemon that were there that I had interest in drafting pairing with Bundle, but nothing was really standing out to me. And then I looked at this one Mon. I had absolutely no intention of drafting this Mon. Absolutely none. I thought about the Mon. I was like, does this pair with Bundle? It can. Yes, it does. Okay. Is this even something I want to draft? And then within 90 seconds, I went from this Pokemon exists. Do I want this Pokemon? I'm drafting this Pokemon. Within basically less than 5 minutes. It was a quick turnaround. I was not expecting this at all. So with my round 2 pick, I take Roaring Moon. No, Roaring Moon is a Pokemon like I said, I really wasn't having any expectation to draft this Pokemon at all. Obviously it has a high 139 attack stat, low special attack stat, it's whatever, but it's naturally bulky except for like a physical fairy move, basically. It can live anyone. I think it can live any like non-highly special attacking fairy move. Be that 105 HP and that one special defense. But what I like about this pair with Bundle is you always have to think about Roaring Moon and Bundle in the back. I can be in a Pokemon that has momentum or has a defensive on, and then, okay, cool, you're going to switch out. Now I'm going to switch in Bundle for free or something like that. Sack a Pokemon, and then now you have Roaring Moon in. Now you have Bundle in. Now that puts them on the back burner. So I'm pretty excited to use it. Obviously, there's a standard sets, Crunch, Acrobatics. You have the DD, Booster Energy Speed, Booster Energy Attack with a DD, whatever you want to run with that. There's some other sets you can run. I've seen AV sets run, like Fire Blast and stuff like that. Has access to Dragon Tail for getting things out and not momentum, but like phasing things out. I'm sorry. Outrage, Lash Out, Knockoff, great I think I got Knockoff now in DLC 2. I think. Can substitute, can U-turn, which is what I really like it for, is gain that momentum. So like I said, overall, I wasn't expecting to draft Roaring Moon at all. I'm not a crazy fan of the design, honestly. But I am a crazy fan of trying something new and seeing how I can use it. I've used the Croissant, Mega Croissant, or King Croissant is what I call my Mega Salamence when I use it in Uber's League. So this is obviously the primal of that, per se. So overall, I think it's really good. Obviously, I have to worry about my fairy types with this. But the storyline with this goes, Bundle was Wurmple's Season 1 MVP. And I lost the Bundle. Season 2, Roaring Moon was one of Wurmple's MVPs. And I lost to it. So I didn't directly lose to Roaring Moon, but he was on his team, and I didn't really have a lot of counters to it. However, there's a whole storyline of, hey, I'm taking Wurmple's Season 1 MVP, and now I'm taking Wurmple's Season 2 MVP, which I thought was hysterical. So like I said, I think pairing two highly speedy offensive mons, both of these Pokemon are above 115, really above 119, I should say. 119 and above. Has really high offensive, high scary mons that I'm pairing really well together, that can basically just click a button and then get out and then get in another time. So I'm overall really excited about this. Sadly, a lot of the Pokemon that I wanted to pair with these two ended up going in the middle round 2 and the early round 3s. So I didn't really have a first choice. Annihilate sadly gone, so no Annihilate for me in Season 3, I'm sorry. So it came down to, and I was looking at it, and there was one mon that was really standing out to me. And it was a mon I had on my Season 1 team. I was talking to Boaz, and he was looking at taking it. I was looking at taking it like right at the exact same time. Um, and it was a mod I talked about in, I think, versus Wurmple in that semifinals game, where it's a mod I wanted to look at again. And that mon is Skeledrige. Skeledrige is a Pokemon that I had on my Season 1 team. It was part of the... I had 3 Unaware Mons, so it was part of the Unaware core. But this time, there's no 300 Unaware Mons. I kind of want to like take it out of that role of like having 3 Unawares. And instead trying to like not refresh what I used it. I feel like I used it good, but not good enough. So I want to see how it does solo. Ironically, this Mon was also on Wurmple's Season 2 team with Roaring Moon, so it's again adding to that storyline aspect. But Skeledrige is really, really good defensive Mon. Like I said, the reason I don't think I use it that well is because I think I try to force it a little bit more, and I think I need to not play more passively, per se, but like cause more havoc with Skeledrige. And that's something I didn't think I did as well enough in Season 1 when I was learning them Pokemon. But Skeledrige can be run, obviously, the Fizz Def set. Obviously, a special defensive set. You can run the Will-O-Wisp, Torch Song, Earth Power, Slack Off. It gets a Fairy type move and a Luring Voice now, which is really interesting. Obviously, I have the Quad Weak Fairy move, Quad Weak Fairy Pokemon in Roaring Moon, so it's not going to be as crazy. But like on like a Como, for example, I can run a Luring Verse Skeledrige and get that Quad Weakness to it. Earth Power is there for great coverage. Obviously, Torch Song is literally spammable. Will-O-Wisp is spammable. Shadow Ball, spammable. So overall, Skeledrige having that 104 attack, or 104 HP, 100 special defense, 75 special, 100 Fizz Def, 75 special defense, is a really, really good defensive Mon, and it really starts my defensive backbone after having 2 highly, highly offensive Mons in Bundle and Roaring Moon. Like I said, I'm semi-familiar with Skeledrige. I would say more familiar than semi, I should say. But overall, I'm really, really excited to try out Skeledrige again and see if I can cause more havoc than I did with it in Season 1. And then going into the next Mon, I really didn't know what I wanted to pair with Skeledrige. I was looking at a lot of options, and a lot of the options are honestly weak to ground, which isn't great to have a defensive option weak to ground, but I wanted a defensive option that was also could be offensive, and I wanted something in between Skeledrige's speed tier and Roaring Moon speed tier. And that's where I picked up Jirachi. No, I'm familiar with Jirachi. I've used it 2 times, I believe, in the past, and I've also faced it a couple times in the past. In my first ever championship league, I was actually against a Jirachi, and they were doing the Cosmic Power, Iron Defense, or whatever, Cosmic Power, Calm Mind, Jirachi, and the one chance I was going to straight up lose to it, I fully admitted defeat, and I got a lucky crit on a Melmetal. And that completely churned the game upside down. And I ended up winning that, getting my first championship. But Jirachi is really good. It gives me my first Stealth Rocker of the team. And 100 base power, 100 stats, and everything is really, really good. You can run it offensively because you can run especially or physically. You could run an Assault Vest that is really good on this. Stealth Rocks, Wish Support. It has amazing coverage moves in like Grass, Ice, Fairy, Ghost, Psychic, Steel, obviously. You can run the annoyance of like Thunder Wave, Iron Head, go for those pair of flinches, which I have absolutely no reason not to go for those. I don't care if I get a fucking pair of flinches, I'm gonna go for it. So overall, I'm pretty excited about Jirachi. Like I said, I've used it before. It's a comfortable pick, not overly comfortable. So I still want to experiment with it a little bit more. But it's something I've used for, and it's something that gives me, obviously, the first rocker, gives me wish support for Bundle and for Roaring Moon, which kind of want that helper supporter set. Sadly, it does pair defensively decently well, Skeledrige. Obviously, both of them are weak to Ghost, and both of them are weak to Ground, which isn't the greatest. I don't believe anyone drafted Golurk, so that's a point to me. So overall, I'm pretty happy about Jirachi. There's not too much to say about it. I think it's to me it suffers a little bit from 4 Moosehot Syndrome, but I think I can come out with those wacky sets of Jirachi and make those 4 Moosehot Syndromes less aggressive. So next up we're gonna go into my first Terra Captain this season. This is a Pokemon that I wanted to draft out of Terra Captain last season, but it ended up getting sniped by Boaz. And that Pokemon is Vikavolt. Now, Vikavolt has a monstrous 145 special attack, gives me that special attacking pairing with Bundle, and honestly, Bundle and Vikavolt don't share a lot of weaknesses. Um, Bundle is honestly weak to electric. Vikavolt counters that with its electric typing. Bundle is weak to fighting. Vikavolt counters that. Vikavolt is weak to fire and rock. Though they're both weak to rock, let's say, but like Bundle counters the fire just fine. It's a neutral hit because of the ice typing. But overall, I really like the thing of Vikavolt. Having the electric, water, and ground Terra types are so good. Obviously, we have to have one Terra type be the one stabs. Obviously, you don't want to be a bug type. Electric's good because then if I Terra it into electric, then I have no weaknesses. Water is good because it basically covers all of Vikavolt's counters. It covers the ground, it covers the rock typing, it covers the water, the fire typing, and it hits it back super duper hard. Even like the ground types with like Mold Breaker, like Excadrill, water can counter that as well. So I've used Vikavolt before. I've used it twice before, I believe. Guaranteed at least once. Common sets you see our run are like agility. You can run agility 3 attacks. One of those probably being Bug Buzz. They would probably be being like Bug Buzz, Electric, Thunderbolt, and Terra Blast Water. Most likely, I'll probably most likely be running Water unless I need a kill with Electric, or I need to kill a certain ground type with, or a certain Steel type with ground type. So unfortunately, it's Vikavolt's 43 base speed, even though its Pokedex says it runs at like 1,000 or flies at like 1,000 miles an hour. That's besides the point. Like I said, it's another comfortable pick. It can be run defensively. I have no problem running this thing like an AV set and just running damaging moves, being able to live anyone hit. So I'm pretty excited. The mon I wanted to draft last season, I get to go draft this season, and it pairs really well, I believe, with my team. Up next, we are coming to my steal of the draft. Now, this mon, I was looking at my next couple picks. One of those being Vikavolt, one of them will be a mon that we get to in 2 rounds. And I was wondering how I could pair with them, what would work well. I knew at that point I needed a Rapid Spinner just to have at least one thing of hazard removal. You don't care much for hazard removal. And I found a certain Pokemon. I'm like, okay, that can afford. I can work with that, work with the points. And then I remembered that this Pokemon has another form, let's say, that's costs a lot more points, but it was still on the board. And that Pokemon is Great Tusk at round 6. I saw Great Tusk sitting there. I was looking at Donphan. I'm like, why would I get Donphan when I can get Great Tusk, spend the points, screw the points? I've used Donphan before. It was on my UDL Season 5 team, I believe. It was a Terra Captain at the time, so I'm using it in normal format. But it having a 115 HP, 131 attack, 131 special, 131 Fizz Def, little lacquer on the special defense side, which it has to be. There has to be some drawback to it. 87 speed is actually very viable. You can run the booster energy speed. You can run the rapid spin bulk up set. Earthquake hits like a truck. You can run the headlong rush. You can run the close combat. You can run the ice spinner. Zen headbutt is an example of what you can run. Heavy slams option for like a Clefable that wants to be able to tank anyone hit. Play rough, like I said, Fire Fang if you want to hit like a Scizor. Overall, this thing I think can be very much a monster. This gives me my second Stealth Rocker of the team to pair that so Jirachi's not forced to run Stealth Rocks. Like I said, it gets that Rapid Spin, gives me that removal in the team. And the fact that I got this thing sitting there at round 6, it was an early round 6, so you can count late 5, early 6, whatever. But the fact that it was still sitting there when it's normally a round 1, if not round 2 pick, was insane to me. And I'm thinking I'm going to get really good value out of this. I think starting after this pick and going to my 7th pick, I think that core 7 of Bundle, Roaring Moon, Skeledrige, Jirachi, Vikavolt, Great Tusk, my next Pokemon, is going to be a great core 7 that I'm going to bring to 90% of my games. So overall, I'm super happy with Great Tusk. Another comfortable pick. Like I said, I used it before. But overall, I'm so excited to grab Great Tusk. I'm so glad I got a steal out of the Getting a steal of Great Tusk is insane to say in the first place. So next up is my 7th round pick, and that's Fezandipti. Now, there's a little asterisk in the top left in the round. I did not actually pick Fezandipti. When I was looking at my round 6 pick, or my round 5, my round 6, and my round 7 pick, I knew I wanted Vikavolt, Fezandipti in that pairing, and I was looking at my ground type, which would have been either Donphan or Great Tusk. And I was looking at the order of which those two, what Pokemon goes where. and I actually made a deal with Zaku. I wanted to secure all three, Great Tusk, Vikavolt, Fezandipti, but I needed to figure out the order. And I decided I could definitely Vikavolt was number 5, like that was a guaranteed lock. I couldn't really decide between Great Tusk or Fezandipti. I didn't want Great Tusk to sit to 7. So I actually made a deal with Zaku. I took Vikavolt on the down 5, picked Great Tusk on the up 6, and then Zaku was a little bit later than me in round 6. He actually picked up Fezandipti for me. Excuse me. And then that secured Fezandipti. So in essence, I got like Vikavolt, Great Tusk, and Fezandipti within like 10 or 11 picks of each other. And then further down the line, when I was up again, me and Zaku traded Fezandipti for whatever Cobalion, I think is what the mon he wanted. So I got all 3 of my value picks right in those middle rounds, which is so good. Fezandipti is mostly here for my special defensive wall. Obviously, having a monster 125 special defense, it has natural bulk in 82 and 89 HP and or special attack or Phys Def and HP respectively. Obviously, Toxic Chain is so good. Poison Fairy is a really rare typing, only pairing it with Wheezing Galar, and which I do not believe got picked. Obviously, I'm a little bit ground weak, being a lot of my defensive mons, being Fezandipti, Jirachi, and Skeledrige are all weak to ground, but I also have really good ground resist, being Great Tusk, which most ground types are physically offensive. So Great Tusk can pretty much easily counter that with a resistance with its fighting typing. So overall, I'm pretty excited about Fezandipti. I've wanted to try it. I actually wanted to pair it with Empoleon since it got released. Didn't really make up the working because I ended up going with the other Penguin, in Iron Bundle. But overall, I'm very happy with Fezandipti. You could run like the U-turn sets. You could run the toxic sets. I believe it gets Roost if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check. Maybe not. Brave Bird's an option. Dark Pulse is an option. Dazzling Gleam, Heat Wave, Hurricane. Access to screens as priority quick attack if I need to get that chip damage. You can run the Swords Dance offensive set. It has Taunt, it has Tailwind, anything I can really run. And I've been waiting to have Fezandipti for a couple months now, so I'm actually really excited to use it. As we go into the round 8, I realized some things were falling. I needed to make trades with Zaku. And then me and Zaku actually decided we were going to further the trade. So I got one of his Pokemon early. He let one of my Pokemon fall a little bit, or I let one of my Pokemon fall a little bit. Sorry, I need to drink some water. And so I made another deal with him. So now the deal was Cobalion and Regirock for Fezandipti and Honchkrow. Now the reason I chose Honchkrow, yes, I do have a Dark type in Roaring Moon, and that's probably going to come 90% more times than Honchkrow. But what I wanted it for specifically was for this Terra Flying right here. Terra Flying Brave Bird off a 125 attack stat is going to chunk something. I could lead this Terra Flying immediately if I don't need Vikavolt to Terra, and then something's taking like 85 if not to 100% damage if it's not a resist. And usually the resist of this would be either a steel or a rock type move. Well, this thing gets superpower. So I'm okay with it. If you want to come into that, cool, I can just hit this back. Obviously, it has the ability to run the Moxie if I run this thing on a Choice Scarf Moxie set. And then Fairy is good as a defensive option. I specifically chose the Dark because, again, the 125 attack stat with a Sucker Punch, Terra Dark, that thing's going to chunk like at least 60-70% to an offensive mon. And that could start my Moxie boost as well. Honchkrow is a Pokemon I've drafted before. It's obviously it's a low tier for a reason. The 71 speed is crippling. The 52 defenses are beyond crippling. It's pretty frail, even though it's 100 base HP. But you could run this physically with the Moxie boost, or you can honestly run a special attacking one. It gets moves. It gets Calm Mind. It gets Chilling Water for some reason. I've ran a Perish Song Honchkrow before to force something out. It's really interesting. It gets access to T-Wave, and what I like about it is it adds another momentum onto my team. I have Bundle momentum. I have Roaring Moon momentum. I have Jirachi momentum. I have Fezandipti momentum, and I have Honchkrow. I have like 7 or 8 mons that can run momentum really well, which is the thing I wanted when I was pairing Iron Bundle and Roaring Moon. So I'm super duper excited about Honchkrow. It's probably not going to come that often, but when it does come, I'm going to click fucking Terra Flying Brave Bird, and you're going to something's going to die, in essence. So going into the final couple picks, I knew at this point I needed a grass typing, and I wanted another remover so I wasn't solely relying on Great Tusk. So I decided to get a Hazardmon and a remover at the exact same time, and I got Toedscruel. Yes, I know I have two ground types, but honestly, Toedscruel and Great Tusk do kind of separate things in my opinion. Toedscruel is more of the support ground type, and Great Tusk is more the offensive ground type that can be supportive. Also, what Toedscruel does, it gives me another special wall, so I'm not relying solely on Fezandipti. Unfortunately, its ability is a little lackluster. Obviously, the Mycelium Mite, you get negative priority on your status moves, but they ignore abilities. It's not that great. But what this does, it gives you another Rapid Spinner to pair with Great Tusk. It gives me access to Sea Spikes. It gives me access to Spikes, which I think Bundle and Roaring Moon really, really, really love. As well as it gives you an Earth Power, a special ground type, which I want to do. I wanted to have a special ground type, just in case I need it. If it's a really physically defensive team, I can run a special that's weak to ground. I can run a special ground type instead. Obviously, 80 special attack isn't the greatest, but the 100 speed is actually really, really niche. I've honestly faced Toedscruel a couple times, and I didn't really care for it, like when I was facing it. And then I started when I got in the match, it became a sort of a problem. So that's what I kind of want to use it for, just to be that nuisance of the team. Access to Leash Seed, access to Knockoff, can run the Spore, obviously. The Toxic, Trailblaze is really interesting. Has Dazzling Gleam for coverage. So overall, it's at the ending of my draft. It probably is not going to come that much because I always have a Great Tusk. But it allows me to get to that Grass type, which I wanted. So overall, I'm happy with Toedscruel. I think it's going to come. I think I'm going to create it's a wacky Pokemon. I think I'm going to create a wacky set with it. And that being said, we're getting to my last Pokemon of the season, and this is going to be Wrydeer. I actually had a different Pokemon planned. I actually planned on grabbing Tatsugiri, which is one of my mascots and one of my favorite Pokemon. Unfortunately, I was off on my prep doc by 3 points. Oh, sorry. So I thought I was going to be able to get Tatsugiri, and then I realized I was off by 3 points, so I had to drop it from a 5. I thought I had 5 points left. I ended up having 3. Wrydeer was one of the Pokemon I was looking at when I was building my teams, like finishing out my draft, and I realized I had 2 points left, and Wrydeer was there. I was like, screw it. I needed normal type just so I'm not weak to Ghost Spam. Wrydeer is not good. There's a reason it was 2 points. It has nice HP, but no defenses at all. Access to Sap Sipper was really interesting. If you want to run like an offensive Sap Sipper set, coming in like Grass type. I don't know. It's weird. It's a Wrydeer. It'll probably come to 1 or 2 matches. I'll be happy with it. If it does something, I'll be happy. If it gets a kill, I'll be happy. Overall, it's weird. It's Wrydeer. I'm too bothered. It's the weird Shacks. It's a shitty Shackmon of the team. With that being said, this is the team breakdown of the season 3 of PWBC. Week 1's start on Monday, and my first match is against Nega, the guy that took both the Golden Go and the Gouging Fire that I wanted. So I'm gonna want my revenge. Thank you so much for watching. This is Shaq with the deep voice that is terribly hurting right now and desperately need water. This is Shaq85. Peace out. Thank you.